Hello and welcome to another day in paradise and welcome to another edition of the Unapologetic Negropean. In today's video, I come to you from the amazing tropical city of Rotterdam, the home of Gouda cheese and Shell oil and dodgy YouTube trolls. Speaking of dodgy YouTube personalities, there is a lot of noise coming out of the Gambia at this moment, specifically from the Blaxit compound. Yes, because word has it that Adrian and Juliette have now gone their separate ways. Now guys, if you think that what I'm saying is just a bit of hearsay, I've got to say this. When I first heard this, I thought the exact same thing. I thought there's no way that these two people would break up. I mean, why would they? I mean, these two guys have done so much with one another. They've been with each other for so long. They've almost built themselves a personality, a public personality, a public persona, which was built on both of them, of course with Juliette leading the way. They built themselves a family, they built themselves a beautiful home on the African continent. They've moved continent. Guys, that isn't something small, that's something big, to take your whole family and move them to the African continent. They then built themselves one of the dodgiest, but a pretty successful business over there in the Gambia. They did this all together. So what would they be looking for by splitting up with one another? I mean, do they both think that they can do better? Does Juliette think that she can do better? But I need to tell you this right now. This has come from multiple sources. And when I've heard these multiple sources that are all independent of one another, I thought, well, where there's smoke, there must be fire. So how did this happen? Why did this happen? Who instigated it? Are they really broken up? Is this the end of Blaxit as we know it? I'm going to try and answer those questions today. First, like always, I'm going to ask you to please like, subscribe, share, click the bell notification, and please consider supporting the channel on our Patreon, link in the description. I'm also going to invite you to please follow the Oversight channel, the channel that is there to help you to invest on the African continent, both safely and securely. Link also in the description. So where do we start? We need to take a look at Juliette herself, because really the only real types of information that we have at our disposal is what we see on YouTube. You know, we need to read between the lines on what we see on YouTube. So up to a couple of weeks ago, Adrian was quite public, on camera quite often. We saw Adrian on camera with Juliette, and this came to an abrupt stop. It actually came to an abrupt stop when Juliette went off to travel. Now, we all know she went to Senegal, and I made the assumption that she went to Senegal with her husband, Adrian, but apparently she didn't. She went to Senegal with a man, a Nigerian man. I don't know if you've watched any of Juliette's videos, but if you take a look at them, if you take a look at the way they've been kind of stylized, the colors that get used and the way that they flick between the screens, you can tell that there has been a certain amount of work being put into the videos, and it's definitely the work of a videographer. So Juliette uses quite a lot of videography, and I'm not sure who's doing the videography for her, but it is more than likely it is one of the videographers that went with her on this journey. She always needs to be on camera, you know, and we know Juliette is not a vlogger, so she was definitely going to bring somebody along with her to help her film, and that's who I believe is this Nigerian stud that actually went along with her. Now, I'm going to tell you what I've been told has happened. So Juliette has approached Adrian and told Adrian about this impending journey that she was going to take to Senegal. She told Adrian that she was going to bring this one Nigerian man, the man who is responsible for the videography in her videos. Now, Adrian was not happy about this. Adrian immediately denounced this and told Juliette, if you do this, I'm going to leave you. Now, I wasn't there. This is what I've been told has happened, okay? So Adrian has given her an ultimatum and told her, if you go, you can go, but I won't be there when you get back. Now, of course, Juliette went. We saw that she went, and we could see that she is on camera by herself, so somebody is filming her. So she has a videographer or a cameraman who is with her there. So apparently she ended up going anyway, and she ended up going with this man. And when she got back, Adrian told her that they had finished, that he had finished with her, finished with Blaxit, finished with the organisation, and he went his separate ways. Now, where Adrian is at this present moment, I have no idea. But we could see from the time where Juliette went and travelled on her YouTube videos, since she's been back, Adrian has not been heard from. Nobody has seen him. Nobody has seen him on, not just on YouTube, but nobody has seen him also in the Gambia. So everybody is asking themselves, well, where is he gone? Did he go back to the UK? No one knows. But as you can see on her YouTube channel, there is no sign of Adrian. She doesn't even speak about him, which is really, really strange. So why would Adrian do this? Don't you think that's a bit extreme? I do. I personally think it's a bit extreme to break up with your wife, the woman who you have had a child with, the woman that you have built a family home with, the woman that you have been with for years, okay? Over what? Over her going away with a guy? And the fact is that, you know, in today's world, we have videographers, we have photographers. My wife, she gets photographed all the time. You know, she's a beautiful woman, so she gets photographed a lot. And the vast majority of these photographers tend to be men. I don't get paranoid because I trust my wife, okay? It's, you know, I don't even think twice about it. Clearly, Adrian is not in the same situation. I genuinely think that there is more to it than that. It isn't just about this guy going off with Juliette, because I don't think Adrian would break up and destroy everything they have built up until then just because she went away and had a cameraman with her. So what can we extrude from this actual situation? So first of all, you can see that Adrian doesn't have any trust for Juliette. Now, guys, this isn't something weird. I've made tons of videos about Juliette and how you should never trust her. But I just find it strange it's coming directly from Adrian. You need to ask yourself the question, why? Why doesn't he trust her? Okay, he knows her. He knows her as well as we do. We know that he knows that she shouldn't be trusted. But why now? Well, you also have to take into consideration the current climate. There has been videos about Blaxit and the organisation, and we had only last week videos that were coming out of the Barmy Bomani camp with Crazy Boyd talking about the relationship between Adrian and Juliette. We know that Juliette wears the trousers, okay? We know that Juliette is the dominant figure in the household, and I truly believe that Adrian stood his ground when he was asking her not to go with this gentleman. I think that Adrian tried to reclaim his manhood. He just said, no, enough is enough, okay? And I'm not going to allow you to walk around doing whatever you like, because he knows that Juliette would have never allowed Adrian to have swanned off to another country in Africa with a woman, okay? Or with a younger woman. That Juliette would never allow it. But as we all know, guys, it is one rule for Juliette and another rule for everybody else. And she has tried to play that card with Adrian, and she has tried to call his bluff, and she has failed at it. Think about this. Think about the arrogance you need to have to be told by your husband, I don't want you to do this. The man of your household, I don't want you to do this. I don't want you to go anywhere. If you do go somewhere, I'm going to leave you. And then she went away anyway. What does that tell you about the arrogance that you must have, this ego that just needs to be constantly fueled, you know, and she fuels her own ego all the time. Okay, we can see this. She never puts a foot wrong. And this is the reason why you will see Juliette, when she speaks out on camera, she is never at fault for anything. It is always somebody else's fault. She speaks like a politician. She doesn't ever own up to any liability for anything that goes wrong in her life, or if anything goes wrong within the Blaxit organization. We've seen this. We know this. I've made many videos about this. It seems as though Juliette's my way or the highway attitude has really come home to roost. And I can't really see how she's going to be able to continue to build this organization, this Blaxit organization. There is no way that it can be sustained without one of the partners, even though he was a silent partner, without one of those people also in the house helping her with the organization. I don't know what's going to happen from here. Will it be a permanent thing? I'm not too sure about that. I think that Juliette is a very calculating type of person. I think that she's the type of person that knew that, hey, even if he goes, I can get him around. I can talk him back round with the valor of my tongue. I just give him a few whispers and he will come running back home. And I think she knows this. She knew that even if he went away, it wouldn't be permanent. And I've got to admit, I think that she's probably right. I don't think Adrian will permanently leave the household. And if he does, I don't see any good coming from that. Definitely not from a woman who is as ill as often as Juliette is. Juliette needs that business partner who she can 100% trust. And she could 100% trust Adrian, and she knew it. But she truly thought that that trust was being reciprocated from Adrian. But Adrian does not trust her. Adrian's not stupid. He's a smart man. We know that. He's a little lost possibly, and perhaps a little trodden on by Juliette, but he's no slouch. But this is a sign. This is a sign from Adrian. Perhaps he actually listened to Kwasi's video and said, well, you know, let's do something. No, I don't think so. I think Kwasi's video came out a little after that happened, but Kwasi's been quietly, even with these videos, Kwasi has repeatedly been telling people about this, about how Adrian somehow feels emasculated by Juliette, and he needed to try and claim that back, and I think that's exactly what he has done here. Guys, I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you think that this is permanent? Do you think that Adrian and Juliette will permanently break up with one another? Do you think that it will ultimately end up in divorce? What do you think will happen with Juliette? Do you think she'll stay in the Gambia? Will she go back to the UK? Or will Adrian go back to the UK? Will he leave his kids there? Guys, I don't know. As a family man, I am telling you this now. I really hope that this is not the truth. And I really, really hope that if it is something permanent, that they are able to build something together so that they can bring up that child who depends on both of them. Okay, they are both strong parents. Okay, so I really hope that they can do something to stem that damage. I would never ask or wish for this type of thing for any child. So I'm genuinely saying this. I really hope that they are able to repair things and to hopefully think twice about defrauding those people that they have already defrauded in the Gambia. Until the next time, please think twice. Torah bit.